Welcome to the Long Shot Podcast. Pew, 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 pew. I am one of your co-hosts, Amber Kenny, and I'd like to introduce the other co-host, Sean Conroy.
Hey, how's it going?
I love, why even do a video? There's glass between us.
What do you mean?
It's the sunglasses are one step removed.
Oh, it's too much. You don't want. Yeah, it's like I'm not. You can't see my eyes, so you can't tell what I really think.
Exactly.
All right, that's how I want it. I want it that way. I used to have a Greek teacher when I was in high school, and not to get into Greek, which is going to lead into the Omicron discussion, but my Greek teacher in high school, when we had tests, he would take a chair and sit up. He would put a chair up on top of his desk and climb up and sit in the chair on top of his desk with mirrored sunglasses on and just sit there and be like, I'll know if you're cheating. Like, that was his way of monitoring for people.
Pretty intense.
That said, deservedly so, because
everybody tried to cheat that class.
The amount of cheating, like in retrospect, the amount of cheating that went on when I was in high school was insane. Not even in that class, I don't think, but just every class I was in.
Really?
It was crazy how much cheating there was that went on. I mean, I've talked before about my sophomore year Spanish class where
you're taking Greek, you're taking Spanish, you're taking Latin.
Well, let me not get into German, which was not until well, that was the thing. In my high school, you had to take a classical language and a modern language. So you could take Latin, or the honors class was Greek. And then you also had to take another, French, Spanish, German, Esperanto, and Pig Latin were the modern languages.
I feel like Esperanto would be in the Latin and Greek, no?
I guess that's true, yeah. There wasn't one that ever really, I don't even really know what Esperanto is. It's just a funny word to me. I think it's a made-up language. Like, right. I don't think it's a real thing. It's like everybody was like, let's have a universal language. And somebody worked on it for like 2 years, and then they were like, yeah, the funding ran out, Bob. So, but and
it sounds like sarsaparilla.
Yeah, it's just a funny word, right? But in my sophomore year Spanish class, the way, and I totally get this, having been a teacher, he would give us quizzes where it was just like 5 vocabulary words or whatever. And you don't want to fucking spend your time as a teacher correcting 30 vocabulary quizzes from all 5 of your classes. So he would collect them and then hand them back out to a different person.
Right. And you have to have like a red pen or something.
No, you used your own pen to mark whether or not it was correct. But you're on the right track, because what that means is if Claudio got my quiz and I gave Claudio my pen, he could correct my mistake and I could get 100 on the quiz. So as soon as the teacher gave everybody their quizzes back and then went to write the right answers on the board so everybody could correct everybody else's quizzes, well, let me take a step back, because this is the other thing about this teacher. He was a bit of a radical in the sense that instead of having the desks in rows throughout the classroom, his classroom was a giant horseshoe of desks. So everybody was seated all the way around the outside, which when I taught junior high school years later, I loved that setup because it meant that I had instant access to every kid and could connect with every kid and get them to pay attention.
They're all the front row.
Right. Nobody was able to hide behind somebody or anything like that. But anyway, so everybody was in their horseshoe, and he would turn around to write the answers on the board, and pens would just fly, pens and pencils, and like, you have mine, I have yours. And so, of course, there was one day where somebody just got a pen right in the face and pulled it out, and there was just blood spurting, and they were like, Senor Larac. His name was Larac. Senor, and so this guy had to go to the transfusion center because he was. But anyway, there was a ton of cheating going on in my high school, and I'm sure there still is. So
I'm sure that's not at all
uncommon,
indicative of where we are now as a country and a society.
You're blaming my high school?
Yeah, yours specifically.
The root of all evil. Yes.
No, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's your high school. I'm sure it is.
But do you think it was that pervasive in every school?
I have no idea.
No.
I didn't see a lot of cheating, but I was a very good kid. So it might have been going on around me, and I just was oblivious.
I think I was a good kid too, but here's an example of me being good, but in a bad way, which was by junior year. So now I'm in my second year of Spanish. I was good. I was good at Spanish, I knew how to memorize stuff. I knew how to pass these tests, whatever. Nobody else had any interest in any of that in my class. So when we had tests, and I can't say that this was for every test, but I do feel like each quarter, no, sorry, we were on trimesters. Every trimester we had our final exam. And it was not an oral exam, which would make sense in a Spanish class. That'd be an oral exam. This was like a multiple choice, mostly vocabulary. Pick the right word, pick the right declension.
Pretty easy in some level.
But I would sit in the front of the room. Everybody in the class would sit behind me. And we would go through number by number, and it would be like 1. And I would signal with my head what A, B, C, D, E, what the right answer was.
So the entire class had the same exact test?
Well, no. See, that's why they were smart, is because everybody had to make at least 3 or 4 mistakes and make different mistakes. So there wasn't a pattern of like everybody had the exact same answers and everybody got the same ones wrong.
Right.
But everybody did cheat on those tests, and I assisted.
Wow.
I didn't need to cheat, but I was perfectly happy to help everybody.
How did you work that out? Like at lunch or something? Were you like, up means yes?
I don't remember, but I just remember
that. Because that takes a lot of coordination. That's like more work to study.
But it definitely was like, okay, Conroy, you're up front, and this is yes. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D.
Oh my God. Was the teacher ever like, Sean, what is wrong with your neck?
Conroy, report to the nurse, please. Yeah.
I feel like you acting out the test and the sunglasses, you have a very Stevie Wonder vibe.
That makes sense. Yeah. He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we always like to start the show with a segment that we call Checking In. So let's start today with checking in.
Great.
And let me just start by saying, I can't believe that we're back at this fucking place with this pandemic thing. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I know you can't control disease or viruses or anything like that.
Well, you can if people isolate and follow measures and
you just got to get infected, get herd immunity, and let's keep going. But like I am going to New York in 3 days, I think, or 4 days, 5 days. No, 2 days. One.
No one cares.
Whenever it is, I'm going to New York, and I'm apprehensive about it. Not because I have fear. Well, no, I'm apprehensive for a lot of reasons.
That
even
makes
though I'm fully
sense.
vaxxed and boosted, I'm still apprehensive about it because who the fuck knows what's going on?
Right.
And I'm going to visit my parents who are not
older.
No, they are older. Why did you say not older? Yeah, no, they are older than I am by quite a bit. But yeah, they're older, and that is as we know, that is the most likely population.
Risk factor.
And it makes me uncomfortable. And then I spoke with and I know the data that's coming out, or data, whatever you want to call it, the stuff that's coming out.
Dadaism. Just complete.
The abstract, absurd things that are coming out. I don't even know what dadaism is, but it's like nobody's dying from this, right? But it's so early and we don't know that. And like, there's all kinds of reasons why that might not be the case. So there's this big push of like, who cares? Just get it over with and it'll help us in the long run. It'll give us herd immunity. Just get infected. We're all going to get infected. And like, I don't 100% buy that.
Yeah, I don't either. And, we don't know enough about the disease long term.
Well, they said 2 weeks to stop the spread, and that was a fucking lie.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I feel like there are people who are healthy, who've been infected, who are having, health outcomes.
That's exactly right. I talked to a friend of mine the other day who has a teenage daughter who has gotten COVID twice during this.
Oh my God.
And after the first time got better, but has had repercussions from it ever since then. And has what they are calling long COVID. What's funny about that to me is that I said that to somebody here the other day. I was like, because we were talking about this, and it was like, my friend was saying, it's not cool for everybody to go, you're just going to get it, so just get it and get it over with, because there's still the possibility that people could get long COVID. And this person who was here was like, what is that? Like, they had never heard about it, And I'm like, so there's still people out there who don't know that you could suffer for an extended period of time. And we don't know how long, because my friend's kid is still dealing with it and going to see new specialists in case they're able to help in some way. Having been seeing specialists for a year now that aren't able to make things better in any way.
Yeah, that's scary.
And as my friend said, like, the kid is a teenager and can't run. And that's not acceptable for somebody to be like, well, this is your life now. You just can't run ever again, So anyway, and then I was talking to somebody today who was talking about how they just came back on a plane from somewhere. And they were like, it was fine. Just wear 2 masks and you just have to not focus on the fact that everybody has their mask around their chin or they don't have it over their nose. And I'm like, why do I have to focus on that? Can I focus on the fact that they don't have their mask on correctly and say something about it? Like, why is it my responsibility to ignore the anger and the frustration and pretend like it's not a big deal that people aren't doing what they're supposed to do to fucking end this shit and keep everybody else safe?
Yeah.
I'm saying, why is it my responsibility?
I agree. It's not. It's
But that's where we are, because if I say something, then I'm the asshole.
Well, and then you are starting one of those like airplane
TikTok
brawls.
things. Yeah. Right? Hey, look, I want to be famous, you know?
Okay, I have seen recently on TikTok a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how often. You're not on TikTok at all. You just see what's on Instagram. So you're a solid 9 months behind TikTok.
Probably way more than that.
But there's a new thing on TikTok. I've only seen a couple of times, but I think it's exactly what you're talking about. So many airplane videos have gone viral that I've seen at least 2 that are clearly fake. Like it's like bad actors on like a plane set. And I was like, this is not like, I'm not buying this even for a second, but it's weird. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's weird.
I do. Well, I maybe I mentioned this before. Did I say this before, that one of my least favorite things is the fake videos where it's like, watch what happens when this Karen says something to me about my blah, blah, blah. And then it's just clearly like a scripted bit and not presented as such, but it is, you know, it's like somebody trying to go viral by pretending that something happened that didn't.
Right.
And it's never done well enough to be convincing. Well, or if it is done well enough to be convincing, then I'm convinced and I haven't noticed
it. Right. It's a nice paradox there. But I feel like the airplane bit of it all is sort of taking it to the next level on all, like, because they had to track down some sort of set that looks like an airplane. Like, that's not just like you're casually in your living room, like, let's film something. Like, this is very premeditated and also not great. If I find one, I will send it your way.
You know how Dave lives in an old fuselage? What if we went in his place and filmed something?
Well, and because it's like, it's always like, excuse me, like somebody was rude to me and I have a baby and I'm on a plane, but it's like filmed from an angle that like no one on a plane could have filmed this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how is there a crane shot on a plane?
And there's so much room and like lighting.
How are they dollying back?
Have you been on a plane? There's this big. Yeah. But I bet some people buy it. I don't know.
Right. What a fucking weird disaster social media is in so many different ways.
Yeah. Well, and what a boring, like there's so many things you could create.
Mm-hmm.
Like a painting, a poem, a dance, a rap, anything. And it's wild that like that's what we're going for. Like people who are pretend assholes on airplanes.
Well, and I would say that about a lot of the stuff that's on any of those TikTok, reel, whatever. It's like somebody spent like, this is my favorite. Maybe no, they're all my favorite. Everything is my favorite.
I love life.
Yeah, but you know the ones where it's like, I'm trying to think of the right song, and I can't, of course. But it's like somebody with a pair of boots in their hand, and they're kind of walking towards the camera, and the music is moving towards the drop. And as it gets to the drop, they throw the boots up, and then you see them in like 11 different outfits, one by one. And I'm like, that took someone a fucking day and a half to film.
Yeah.
To make a 7-second video about I have clothes. Who cares? Why would you do that? It's upsetting.
I still think that's better than fake fight on an airplane.
Yeah, that's valid.
Because some people like fashion. Like, I hear you. It's not your bag. It's not your cup of tea. But some people, it's like, I'm on the internet to look at outfits. And so they found a creative way to display that. That took a long time, but it at least isn't like hurting anyone or creating hate or anger.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe certainly it's creating anger for me. But like, is it hurting anyone? I don't know. Because what happened in between those outfit changes?
Right. And like, where are their children? Are they being fed?
Are they locked in the bathroom and just like, you guys drink out of the toilet? Mommy's making a video about how I have zebra pants. Ugh. So yeah, and then there's the other part of it, which is I am going to New York, at least as of today. Who knows what it'll be like in 2 days or 3 days, whenever. Is it 4 days? I don't know.
Still, no one cares.
But I'm already like, okay, so I'm going to my parents' house, and already I've spoken to my mother, and we figured out that I am going to take a test before I go in the house. Mm-hmm. So there's like those kind of tests, but then, it's the holidays and all my brothers and their kids. And are we just going to spend the entire week like testing and you know what I mean? Like, it's all so, I don't know. It's very
complicated.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. Strange Days, starring Ray Fiennes and Angela Bassett, I believe.
Oh, sounds good. I haven't seen it.
I could be wrong, but I think those are the 2 stars of that movie. That would be amazing if I was right about that, because that movie is over 20 years ago. 25, maybe. All right. So checking in. Amber, what's going on?
I am one of those dummies that just flew on a plane. I was in Omaha this time last week. We went and visited Jeff's parents, and
we talked about this on last week's episode.
I wasn't there.
Oh no, I talked about it.
Okay. Okay, then I guess I'm done.
No. I didn't give details.
But we saw his parents, which we haven't seen them since our wedding, which is almost 3 years now. Oof. And both of his sisters came from Kansas City, and his brother lives there. So it was the first time we were all under the same roof in a long time. I want to say like 5 or 6 years, because not all of his siblings made it to our wedding. It's like a whole thing, but there was like always one person at least missing from every time that I've seen them, and we were obviously missing all of the other times. And so it was really nice, but yeah, it was wild to be on a plane. It was wild to even be in an airport. I realized that is like a lot of hustle bustle humanity for someone who has been basically a hermit for the past 2 years. Right. Like it's a culture shock. Because everyone's like in a rush, and and I'm like, can we just be cool?
Be cool.
We flew out of Burbank though, so it was a little, I don't know if I could have handled LAX at this juncture, but is that where you're flying out of?
I'm flying out of LAX, but flying back into Burbank. But you're right. LAX is just a whole other ball of airport. It is crowded and poorly set up, and
Burbank's like a cozy little jacuzzi compared to LAX. Like, it's easy, it's little, it's in and out.
Right.
And then the plane itself, it was weird. There's people wearing masks. Not to be the person that you hate. But yeah, I just was like,
you spent the entire flight making a video about the fact that you have clothes.
No, just like I had to not think about the fact that we were in a pandemic.
I don't hate that. I just feel like it's an unfortunate position to be put in. That doesn't make me hate you. That makes me feel like you are being unfairly treated by the world at large.
Right. And it was fine. The flight was fine.
Did they open the windows at least? So there was
yeah, people got sucked out.
I just don't want to get Omicron.
And then we landed in Omaha, and his dad picked us up, and his dad works in a hospital. Mm-hmm. And he was like, we had just landed. It was kind of a long day. I haven't been on a plane in 3 years, there's a lot that I'm adjusting to. I haven't been outside of Los Angeles except for, like Palm Springs a handful of times or whatever.
It's basically just the outskirts.
not Palm Springs, Joshua Tree, but you see what I'm saying. I haven't left California proper. I haven't left Southern California.
I love how you work Palm Springs and Joshua Tree in, like you're just name dropping cool places to go. Sorry, not Palm Springs. I meant Reno, Nevada. Oh, sorry, Vegas. Sorry.
And he works in a hospital, and he was like doing the like his catching us up on everything on the drive back to the house, and he was like, yeah, right now all of the hospitals, they're just filled to the brim with COVID cases. It's really not doing well right now. And I was like, what are we doing here? But yeah, Jeff was aware of that ahead of time. And that's why we never left the house. We got to his parents' house, and that's what we did.
Guys, when we said we were excited to be under the same roof, we just want to be under the roof.
Right. Well, and his family his parents kept saying like, oh, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And Jeff and I were like, we're here to see you. That is it. And our second night there, it snowed, which was pretty cool for me because I don't get to see that very often. But then it was warm enough that it melted 2 days later. So it was kind of the best of both worlds, where it wasn't cold and icy, but I got to see snow, and I got to see Christmas lights and snow and all of that good stuff. And it was a really nice trip. And I'm trying to figure out what it was. Like, on one hand, it might have just been nice for me to not physically be in my house or be working on my laptop.
Yeah.
But also, I've been to his parents' house a number of times,
multiple times,
and this I felt the most comfortable. And I think there's a lot of reasons. I think now I have a history. I'm not there, like trying to sell myself or like impress the parents. Like,
hi, I'm Amber. I have a podcast.
Ugh, the worst. But this was my first trip there as their actual daughter-in-law. So I think I felt it.
Part of the family.
Part of the family. And I know them. So like, I don't know how to explain it. Like things that before, just families operate differently. That's the nature of human beings and culture. And at first it's like, as if it's not exactly what my parents do, what is like it's sort of mysterious.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And like hard to navigate.
You
like
fucking weirdos.
But just like, yeah, like communication things, or like how we have meals, like little tiny things. They're not surprising to me anymore. Like, and I know how to navigate them.
Why do they keep saying supper? This is dinner. What the fuck?
I will say I did freak out once because we went for a drive with his dad. His dad wanted to show him like his old high school, and I guess the neighborhood around it had changed. And on the way back, he's like, oh, now that's a cafe that we like to have breakfast at. And it pains me, but
beg your pardon?
I know. I just let it slide. I was like, okay. And then I was in a car. Now I sound like a liar. We did leave the house, but it was only car trips.
And then on the third day, we were out of the house for 11 hours.
But I was in a car with his sister's boyfriend, and his brother and his nephew. I guess my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, my nephew-in-law, is that, or just nephew? I don't know how that works. But
nephew-in-law coming to ABC this fall.
They over and over and over again kept being like, oh yeah, that's a really good cafe. And I finally was like, okay, I'm saying something. Is this a Midwestern thing? Like, why are you saying cafe? What is going on? I'm losing my mind.
Jesus, it seems like Amber's on cocaine.
But like, that is weird, right?
Yeah.
That's a weird.
Oh, it's very weird. Yeah. They're fucking weirdos. I would be very careful if I were you going forward.
And like, his nephew Trent is 15 now, and I probably met him when he was like 5 or 6. And obviously haven't seen him in quite some time. And I had such a good time with him. Like he's a good kid. And there's two nieces that we had never met before. One was born right around our wedding, and that's why the sister didn't come. And then the other one was born in the pandemic. So we got to meet. I mean, we had FaceTimed with them and stuff, but the first time meeting them in person. And yeah, it went by really fast. It was really relaxed. I think in the past, again, I've been there and been like, what should I do now? And I'm like, I'm going to watch this baking competition with Jeff's mom because, like, that is, I think before I would be so like, so when are we doing the stuff? And it's like, this is the stuff we're doing, you know? Like,
in a way, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but in a way, it's almost like COVID took the pressure off because it was like, I don't want to go out anywhere. I just want to be under this roof. Like, what a fucking roof this is.
Yeah. You know? Wonderful. And, yeah, I mean, we like looked at old childhood pictures of everybody and it was great. It was a great time. Mm-hmm. But so strange. And then the Omaha Airport. So I guess they don't have like a mask thing at all in Omaha. That's also why we didn't go anywhere, because it's like prevalent and they're not doing anything about it, which is like,
the hospitals are packed, but at least we don't have to wear masks.
Like there might be a correlation here, but I don't. I don't.
Those Nebraska people get it. Look, the football stadium is the biggest city in the state every Saturday during the fall. So there's definitely weird shit going on there.
And so the Omaha airport had like a slightly different vibe than the Burbank airport. Like there was more baseball hats that were camo, and people had masks, but
holy shit, Jeff, look, that guy's wearing a baseball hat. No, he's not. He is, but it's camo.
No, it felt very like we have guns and
right.
And we don't like wearing masks, but we are because we want to be on this plane. But we will start a fight.
Don't say shit to me because
exactly.
I'm packing.
And so on the flight back home, we flew Southwest, and so we didn't get
because LA is Southwest. That makes sense.
No, can I tell you, this was weeks ago, but I had drinks with Jane, and she was talking about, she was telling a story, and she's like, well, and that's right when Delta, she was talking about going somewhere. Mm-hmm. And she's like, and that's right when Delta started again. And my dumbass was like, oh, Delta just started flying flights then? And like, as I was saying it, I was like, I understand what you're saying.
That's right when Delta started again, when we were all united. So we were flying Southwest, and all of a sudden we reached Frontier. Alaska.
But so Southwest, the way it works, you might be aware of this. I wasn't aware of it.
Is this the thing about no seats?
Yes. So everyone is the same class. Everyone's first class. And it's based on when you check in is the order that you can board. And then you can pick whatever seat you want. Mm-hmm. And just, I think, not being used to traveling or flying or any of that. And we checked in quasi late both times for the flight.
I like how you're limiting how late you were. Like you weren't late, you were just quasi late.
Well, but so we were a very latter day boarding schedule. What am I saying? But so we were.
Have you ever been to the Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day boarding schedules?
We boarded late, and because of that, we couldn't sit next to each other, and we both were in middle seats.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, real good stuff.
Bonus exposure.
And so, as you're entering the plane, also filled flight both times. I was like, awesome. Yeah. As you're entering the plane, because you just have to. It's also my worst nightmare. Like, it feels like you're in junior high looking for a seat at lunch, like,
yeah.
Like, and everyone's like mad behind you. So it's like, if you find a seat, you got to take it. But it's also hard to tell. Like, it just seems like there's a sea of people. But that said, so everyone is kind of eyeing you as you walk in. And there was a guy in, I want to say like the first or second row wearing a MAGA mask. And he was really like, I think he wanted someone to start a fight. And it was just like, I'm not taking the bait, man. Like, sorry about your life. But yeah, it was a wild
I
thing to
hope
do.
they do. I hope they do make America great again. I really do.
It's not working out so good so far.
No, it's going poorly.
And also, what time are they referencing? I would like to see the year and date that they would like to go back.
It was definitely before 1965, the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, it might have been before the Civil War, even.
Or if it was after the Civil War, it was at least 10 years after the Civil War, after the Jim Crow stuff started.
Right, right.
After it became legal again. Yeah, I mean, this is my own thing, but wearing a mask that says MAGA across the front of it.
It's like an oxymoron. Yeah.
But it's also like just going, fuck you. Mm-hmm. It's like aggressive. Like that's a purposely aggressive statement. Because we're not in the middle of a campaign right now. I mean, I guess we're always in the middle of a campaign, but yeah, that's like, I would have just, if I was on Southwest and I was just walking by that guy, I would have just punched him in the face and kept going to sit in my middle seat.
Well, you would have gotten arrested.
How do they know who I am?
My parents' friend recently got kicked off a plane.
Really?
Because I guess someone was sitting in her seat and she walked up to them and said, if you don't get out of my seat, I'm going to kill you. That was her opener. And it didn't bode well in the current climate.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah. If you don't get out of my seat, I'm going to blow up a bomb in your face. No, it's funny because when you were saying you sit, you go in the order that you're allowed on the whatever the Southwest thing is. I still don't totally understand it, but I was thinking about a time when I was on a plane not long ago, within the last 5 years, and like I'm very conscious of where I'm sitting on the plane because I want an aisle seat. I'm tall. It's not a problem anymore, but there was a period in my life where one of my knees really bothered me, and so I always wanted to sit with my right knee on the aisle because I had torn my quadriceps tendon many, many years ago, and it just always bothered me. It doesn't anymore, so it's not a problem. But I was like, I want aisle seat left side so that my right leg is out in the aisle.
Oh yeah, Southwest would be a nightmare for you unless you had a very early.
So I would get there like 11, like the day before or 2 days before, maybe 3 days. I can't remember, but I got on the plane and I knew where my seat was, and I went to my seat and there was a dude in the seat, and I was like, "Hey, this is actually my seat. I have the ticket for this." And he was like, "Oh no, man, you can sit anywhere. Just go back there. There's plenty of seats back there." And I was just like,
"No, that's nice. I will kill you."
yeah. I mean, immediately, immediately.
I love how you're like, I get this lady.
Yes, 100%.
So what happened?
I kept talking to him until he got up and moved, but it's already such a high stress environment. Mm-hmm. Just anytime you're going in and out of an airport and in and out of a plane, it's fucking stressful. So again, it's that thing of like, why do I have to be the one who reasons with the fucking asshole who doesn't understand that this is assigned seating? Go find your fucking seat. And I'm pretty sure, I don't remember this for sure, so maybe I'm lying, but I'm pretty sure it was an emergency exit row, which I had paid for, because that's the thing now, is that you have to pay for those seats. And I was like, get the fuck out of here before I set off the bomb I have attached to my chest right now. I wonder what would happen if you got on a plane and you were like, like if I just had a backpack on and I was like, everyone listen carefully.
Oh, no.
Inside my backpack is a parachute. So if the plane is going down, I
Grab
will be
onto
fine,
me.
but do not come near me. Like, well, he didn't say anything bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Also, I don't know if this is like a, when time passes, your old bedroom seems so much smaller than you remember, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is a time passing thing or
You just got bigger.
or no, or like they have evolved to make things smaller, but airplane bathrooms are so comically small now. Like,
Mhm.
um, I had to use the bathroom, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm just cleaning it," and he wasn't inside of it. He had a mop like this. That's how little it was.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
it is. Well, I do think you're absolutely right. It is like how many fucking seats and bathrooms can we pack into this goddamn tiny little thing? Like
Right.
that has definitely changed over time, and that causes huge problems because for me, if I'm
Right.
sitting in front of no, if I'm sitting behind if somebody puts their seat back, it's gonna fucking kill me.
Yeah.
You know, period. Just automatically, I'm going to get hit by whatever person puts their seat back. That's just how big I am, and that's how small the seats are. So I would rather you not put your seat back. But if you're going to, I mean, sometimes if I'm really in a bad mood, I will lean forward to the person in front of me and just go, can you do me a big favor? And if you're going to put your seat back, just let me know so I can get out of the way. And that usually forces
Stops
people
them.
not to do it.
Mhm.
But there's that whole debate that's been going on for years of like, it's my seat, I should be able to put it back, versus the people who are like, it's my knees, I shouldn't have to deal with your seat. And
Right.
that wasn't a problem until the
They
last whatever amount of time when they started packing all that shit in.
Well, the bathroom again. We're so hack. We're just like, aren't airplanes weird? But
The food is not good.
it's just Chex Mix. The airplane bathroom is so small that I felt like it was
How
tough.
small is it?
It felt tough to like take off my pants. And I'm little. Like I'm 5'2". So I there are a lot of people bigger than me. And yeah, I don't understand how
I am one of them.
I don't understand how it works.
That's why when I go to the bathroom on a plane, I always take my pants off outside the bathroom and then go in and then put them back on after I come.
I will kill you. Take off my pants and thank you.
It's funny that you're talking about the gun stuff in Nebraska because I dated a girl for a long time who's from Nebraska, and she grew up in like a tiny, tiny town. Like 200 people lived in her town growing up. So there was like 6 people in her high school class, and
That's
she
crazy.
was like, there was one kid in her class who, he was like the kid who lived outside of town. Like imagine being in a town of 200 people and there's still people who are like the hicks compared to the city dwellers. So this guy
also like, you guys all should just eat at the same lunch table. Like,
but so she was like, he would show up to school and he would have gone hunting in the morning. So he would drive to school in his pickup with 2 bloody dead deer carcasses in the back and just leave it in the parking lot all day and then go home and butcher them. Like that was just how it was.
That's crazy.
Fucking Nebraska, man. There was an article that came out in the Atlantic not too long ago, last week sometime, and it was basically about the Midwest. And it was like the title of the article was something like, I don't care about the virus, and neither does anybody I know, or something like that. Like just basically that this guy was from Michigan, and the people he lived around in Michigan had not given 2 thoughts to it since it started, and didn't affect their behavior, didn't affect their anything. They weren't vaccinated, they weren't boosted. And he was kind of saying, like, you guys are making a big deal out of nothing. In fact, one of the things he was saying was like, it isn't a big deal in most of America. It's only a big deal in big cities and academia and the elites. Like those are the people that whatever. It caused caused a bit of a backlash, as you can imagine. And one of the things is like, yeah, and who's dying? It's the fucking people in Michigan and the people in Nebraska, not the people who are academics, elites living in the big cities. I mean, they are still to a certain extent, but way, way worse. Like, what is it? 3.5 times the rate of death among Trump voters than it is among people who voted for Joe Biden. It's just a fact.
My friend Tim, I forget if I talked about this already, but Tim. He had a 40th birthday, and so he had like a little get together at the Red Lion, which is
here we go with Tim's birthday again.
No, there's it will be related. I promise you this. And it was nice because it was cold out, but we all were outside, like. So it felt safe-ish, quasi-safe. But one of the guys there that I've known a long time, one of Tim's good friends, is a respiratory therapist. And so I didn't like put 2 and 2 together, but when I saw him, I was like, holy crap, like, how's life been the last 2 years? And he said it was really intense. He's seen a lot of people die, and he's like, I've had to lie to a lot of people and say that they're going to be okay when I know they're not going to be. And but he had like a dark sense of humor about it. I get it. That's how you have to deal with things. Right. But he was saying, like, I'm all for people being anti-vaccine. Like, that's putting money right in my pockets. Because truly, he's like, that's the only people that I'm now seeing with COVID are right. people who are not vaccinated.
Right.
So get vaccinated, everybody.
By the way, I'm thinking of doing a reboot of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and it's called The Hunchbacks of Notre Dame, and they're triplets. So there's Quasimodo, Quasi-Late, and Quasi-Safe. And they're all in love with Esmeralda. So I hope that works out.
I like it.
Thank you. Well, how about if we take a quick break and then come back and do our segment that we like to call We'll See You Next Time on the Long Shot Podcast.
Sounds good.
Okay. The sun has gone down, so
you get to take off your glasses, and I poured myself a glass of wine.
Right, correct. It's party time.
Look at those baby blues. Are they blue?
They're not.
What are they?
The thing I always said when I was growing up was that they were hazel, so sort of brownish green. I've been told that I'm wrong on both counts. I don't honestly know. What do you
mean on both counts?
Well, in other words, I say brown.
They're not brown or green.
Well, some people go they're brown, and some people go they're green. So I don't know which is correct.
Gotcha.
And they are made of glass, so they could be anything, So it's time for a segment on the show that we like to call Parting Shots. So, Amber, parting shots.
Yeah, I got 2 things locked and loaded. I realized I left off one other possible reason that the family trip to the Wattenhoffers felt more comfortable, and
it is drugs the whole time.
No, it is smudgy. Like, I get why people get dogs or have kids, because it was like an instant conversation with everyone, because like no one wants to hear about our jobs, and no one even understands what they are or cares. Right. We don't really follow sports. Like, there's like a laundry list of things that I think that's what, but like they will ask questions about Smudgy all day long. We'll talk about Smudgy all day long. They'll talk about their cats. Like, it was like a built-in wonderful family conversation.
Diversion.
Yes. He wasn't there, but we showed pictures, we told stories, the whole bit. So thank you, Smudgy. The second thing I wanted to say is thank you. You helped me get my booster shot. And
I did.
It was like a really funny, dumb story because I woke up and I was just like doing the math. Like it was never convenient to do it because you basically have to plan the next day you might be sick and you might be incapacitated.
Right.
And work has been so busy. And then
right. I was wiped out after my booster
and
shot.
then like also there's like I have weekends that I'm like, I don't want to be sick all weekend. Like
it's the only time you have.
Right. So there was never a good time. And then one day I woke up the Sunday before we went to Omaha and I was like, I'm doing it today. I keep like having reasons I'm doing it today, but also how do I do it? And both you said like just go to a CVS.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't know why it was my worst nightmare, but my worst nightmare was just like going somewhere and then them being like, what are you talking about? I don't know why that was so horrifying to me, but
you don't want to feel stupid.
Yeah. And if you can sign up for an appointment online.
Do you guys want to talk about my dog, Smudgy?
You can sign up for an appointment for a booster shot online, but they all are like sort of a week out. And word on the street.
And they're also like in Rancho Cucamonga or whatever.
Right. But word on the street was that there's tons of walk-in appointments available. It's just you can't tell what they are online. Like they don't advertise that. That is why they're available, I think. It's like this. So anyway, you told me just go to a CVS, and then Barbara, even more specifically, was like, go to the CVS on Glendale. I walked right in and I got a shot. And I was like, great. I literally, both of you said that to me. I like grabbed my keys and put on my double mask and walked to my car. And I was like, I just have to do it now because I think if I overthink it, it's not going to happen. So I go into a drugstore.
Yes.
And I'm like, we're doing it. And I was like excited. Like once I get the shot, I'm going to go get a bunch of like Gatorade and stuff that in case I'm feeling sick that I already have in the house.
Hello, pharmacist. I am interested in purchasing some of your drugs. But before I do that, I have another question.
And yeah, so I walked right up. I found like, because pharmacies are kind of confused. There's always like a pickup line and then the drop off line. And so it's like
consultation. Yeah, there's like 11.
So I'm like, I'm not places. Exactly sure where I'm supposed to go for
Excuse me, I was here first. Yeah.
But I found the thing that was like line up here for the booster shot. And I was like, great, this is gonna be cake. And I get up to the line and I was like, yes, I would like to have my booster shot. And they were like, do you have an appointment? And I was like, no. And they're like, we're only taking appointments today. And I was like, my friend said that you can do walk-up appointments. And she's like, so sorry, not today. And I was like, God damn it. Like, of course I'm doing it wrong somehow still, even though I got evidence from friends. And so I was like, whatever.
My name at all, by the way?
I'm sorry?
Did you mention my name at all?
I didn't mention your name. Okay. But
next time.
I think I needed a couple things for the house, like a toothbrush or whatever. So I got that at the store. And I was like kind of dejected because I was really pumped about accomplishing something that has been in the back of my mind for a long time of something.
And toothbrush doesn't rank. Toothbrush is like
not as high.
I haven't been brushing my teeth for 11 years. Right. I go 2 more days. Who cares?
So I buy it at self-checkout. I have my toothbrush and I'm walking to my car and I look up.
Hold on. We changed our policy. Come back.
Even better. I'm leaving and I look up and the sign says Rite Aid. I had driven to a Rite Aid. I just assumed it was a CVS.
Mistake number 1. Also, CVS has better toothbrushes.
100%. I don't know why. Barbara said the CVS on Glendale and my brain was like, oh, it's that place. And without like looking, do you know what I mean though?
CVS on Glendale. Here I am at the Rite Aid on Sunset. Time to go in and find it.
Well, I was on Glendale.
Okay.
And so I was like, And like I had even texted Barbara, like, they're not, it's appointment only. Like, what's up? Like, anyway.
Motherfucker.
And they're like, oh, too bad. Maybe try earlier in the day next time or something. Right. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, this is a Rite Aid. And I got my car and I drove to the CVS on Glendale, went in and got my booster shot like almost immediately.
Welcome to CVS, my friends. Please come, gather around. We are giving out the boosters today. Who wants a booster? Booster for you, booster for you, booster for you, boost.
Truly, there was no line even. And it felt it didn't feel like a medical appointment or procedure in any way. I mean, there was a nurse and they gave me a shot, but like they didn't
aside from aside from the nurse and the injection, it did not feel in any way connected to medicine.
But I mean, like they didn't give me any like post procedure.
Did they make you stay for a period of time? Oh, that's funny.
So I was just like,
that seems bad.
I bought my Gatorade like I'd planned to at Rite Aid.
Okay, you're all set, Amber. I don't know. You can take off unless do you need a toothbrush or anything? Because
no, I
just got one at Rite Aid. Oh, fuck you. Get out.
But to that point, I did have to work the next day because it was a Sunday, and my arm hurt so like I couldn't lift it past here, and it was so funny because Jeff kept being like, "No, lift your arm." And I was like, "This is it. I'm doing it, buddy. Like we're at max capacity." And I got really cold that night, but I also get cold.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to describe now is it is so strange looking for symptoms. Like,
right.
When like I could get sick any minute now. And so it's like, is this psychosomatic? Is this just how I feel and I'm attributing it to something else? Or is it a symptom? So I got really cold that night, and the next day my arm hurt like crazy, but I still worked. I wasn't like laid out like you were. I was pretty tired. In hindsight, I think I was sicker than
you thought you were.
Yeah. Because on Tuesday,
the tiredness is definitely part of it,
Well, I'm stubborn. I have like a stubbornness when it comes to health things like that.
Well, I'm aware. Jesus Christ.
And when I woke up on Tuesday, I was like, I feel like $1 million. I was like, oh, I don't think I felt good yesterday. Yeah. But I'm glad that I have it.
I feel like $1 million, and I feel hydrated, and my teeth are clean.
Well, yeah, and I had all this Gatorade and like Pedialyte, and a couple days later, I watched the rest of the season of La Brea at Karen's house, which was incredible.
I still haven't finished season 1. But...
Oh, you are in for a treat.
It is. Can I just mention one of my favorite things?
Okay.
We're living in a world where saber-toothed tigers could come out of the woods at any moment. Yet there's an episode where a Navy SEAL doctor who hasn't taken his PTSD medication handcuffs a woman to the steering wheel of a car that's not going anywhere and just leaves her out there. Like,
oh, that's my favorite. It's like they traveled through time. There's danger around every corner, and they're like, you didn't tell me you were dating. Like, I'm like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Like
also, I did it before, but I'm going to do it again. My favorite impression of the daughter, which is, Dad? 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 Like, that's all she ever says.
I cannot wait for you to watch the finale. I can't wait to talk to you about it. But I was going right from work, and
also,
I was
that's
like,
10 hours of our lives we'll never get back.
I know. I honestly, I was having a really stressful week at work, and it like healed my soul. Laughing with my friends about it.
And I watch it by myself, and I'm fucking howling with laughter alone. Like, it is so funny to me.
Truly cannot wait for you to watch the finale. I was standing up and screaming.
Uh,
Anyway. We also Karen and I like made a chart of like
yeah.
how the time could have worked, and
Right.
it's great.
Oh, it seems to me that there's a bunch of camels who live down here 10,000 years ago. We just found them in the La Brea tar pits. Also, I'm very stoned right now.
That guy is he had you haven't gotten to the cow yet, right?
I did. I think I did. Yeah.
Where I don't know if you've seen this episode or not, but like the girl that gets handcuffed to earn everyone's trust back is like, I'll go with you to look for a cow.
No,
anyway, so this isn't that spoilery, but I'm going to tell you this one line because it's so good.
Wait, before you even say it, how funny is it to talk about a show and be like, the girl who gets handcuffed to earn everybody's trust back goes, I'll go with you to look for a cow.
It gets crazier. So that guy is like, he knows everything. He knows the exact date.
He was getting his master's degree, so of course he knows it.
But he knows the exact date that cows come to the continent. Like, he knows fucking everything about everything. And then he's walking with that girl who is handcuffed, and she's like, we should go to low grasses. Cows eat low grasses. And he goes, how did you know that? I was screaming, like, because everyone does. Like, what are you talking about?
Also, who in real life would say low grasses?
Just grass.
Come on. Yeah.
But anyway,
let's see if there's there was a golf course discovered around here in 10,000 BC.
I cannot wait. I don't want to spoil anything, so just watch it so we can talk.
Oh, God.
Because there's some twists and turns that we were talking about it, though. This isn't spoiling anything, but I think because it's such bad writing and bad acting and bad directing, let's give it all a fair shake.
Let's not hold back on craft services. You can tell those people.
I bet they're well fed.
Yeah, that's true. That's a network show.
But it's almost like a blank piece of paper, and that's why like they get away with the twists, because it's like, yeah, anything could be happening. Like, the actors are giving us nothing, so anything could be happening. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I haven't finished it, but I have gotten past the part where it started to turn into Back to the Future.
Oh, okay. It gets even more back.
You could fine for you to say that, but I'm the one who's going to die. And it's like, no, you're not going to die. You're just going to fade into nothingness the way Michael J. Fox. Like, and I can't even remember if they've done this yet or not, or if they do it at all. But it feels like they should actually reference Back to the Future. Like, this is a world in which Back to the Future exists. So
they've referenced Lost. I think
Lost was in the pilot. Times. Yeah, Lost was in the pilot. Like, they were like, this is just like Lost. Network executives, don't you get it? This is why you should keep this show on. Yeah.
It's great. Well, also, I have all these theories that like every character there is just like, there's like only two characters. It's all of them at different ages.
They're all at different points in their lives. Yeah. Well, it's also funny if one of the characters, like the character, I forget even who said like this is just like Lost or something in the pilot. But it'd be funny if that was their whole thing through the whole series, was just going like,
oh,
this is nothing like Synecdoche, New York. Like this is, like they're just referencing every movie ever. This is not like Star Wars: A New Hope.
How did you know that? Like, cows eat grass, man. Like, babies know that. Anyway,
it's fascinating to me that you would understand that cows eat low grass.
Well, and that guy didn't know that, but he knew like their DNA makeup or whatever. But
I forgot that because I was very stoned off my vape.
I brought all of that up to say that I had like extra Pedialyte before I was going to Karen's. I was like, might as well bring it with me. So I was really drinking Pedialyte at Karen's house. Also, I wanted to say this is like a third check parting shot, and then I will turn it back over to you. I'll let you get a word.
Checking in?
No, this is a parting shot. But yeah, the Omicron, or however you say it, it's a real bummer. There was two different like small holiday gatherings that I was supposed to have this week, and both were canceled.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we're gonna have another kind of solo bolo isolated holiday, which I wasn't accounting for. I thought that this would be a one where we could be with people
Right.
and celebrate. But like that's a bummer. But if you do the full accounting, I'm very lucky and I'm very happy. And if that means that I just have to spend time in this house with Jeff and Smudgy, it could be much worse. And
Right.
at least we're here and at least we're healthy, knock on wood. And that is my parting shot.
Okay. Parting shots. I have 11.
Are they on Post-it notes?
Yes. No, let's see. It's funny that you said solo bolo because I did refer to last week's episode on Facebook as I said what Amber would call a solo bolo episode. But I did stand up this week for the first time.
Whoa!
In 642 days.
Where?
At the Clubhouse.
Yeah.
There's a little improv theater over on Vermont.
It's a nice
Hollywood.
one. There's at least parking. Like,
God, that's my favorite thing about it is like
truly
in a strip mall, so you can find parking there, and you don't have to worry about that. And it was fucking weird and whatever, but it was still super fun to get on stage and tell jokes. And I did all stuff that I hadn't done before, and some of it worked and some of it didn't work. But I did one joke. It ended up not being the first thing I said, but it was kind of my first joke. And I was like, I want to do a joke that's like a classic setup and
twist at the end.
Well, that's the point of a joke.
like a joke, possibly.
Like a joke, yeah. But so I sent it out in my newsletter this week, which, by the way, people can subscribe to my newsletter on my website, and I send out a newsletter every week, and it's very random and weird, and it's whatever I feel like talking about. But I sent out the setup in the newsletter last week and said, please send me punchlines. And people did. I got way more response to this newsletter than I've ever gotten before because people were all trying to write punchlines for the joke. And some of them were good. They did a good job. But it was just funny to get all these punchlines back. And so here is the setup.
Okay.
Which is, I said, when I was growing up, my father was a high school principal and my mother was a lawyer. So whenever I got in trouble, and then it was like, so it's that thing of like, what is it about a principal and a lawyer that connects in a way that makes it into a joke? So it was almost like a writing exercise for everybody of like, what are the things? And some people did a really good job of like trying to incorporate both into one idea.
And some just picked one, I'm guessing.
Some just picked one. Some did both, but like
not at all.
Yeah, it was like, so then they did this, but they also did this. And like, all of those are valid directions to go. I'm going to send out another newsletter this week.
Like the winner?
With everybody's, not everybody.
Oh, that's funny.
It's a lot, but like with a bunch of those punchlines in it. And I'm also going to say what the punchline was I used, but it won't translate on the page.
What was the punchline?
Across in real life. So I thought I would just use this as an opportunity to tell the joke the way I told it on stage. And that way, if anybody is interested, they can listen to this part of the podcast and go, okay, I get why he did what he did. So this is what I said. I came on and I said a bunch of things related to what had already happened in the show. And it was all very funny and chatty and, just making people comfortable with my presence. And, I was doing stand-up for the first time. And I said, when I was growing up, my father was a high school principal and my mother was a lawyer. So whenever I got in trouble, they beat me.
I love it. It's very, very
so it's
like
a twist at the end,
Mm-hmm. It's
And
very
it's
like
like,
Norm Macdonald sort of like anti-joke joke, but I love it.
It's presuming that people are thinking along the
Yeah,
lines of constructing the
right.
joke. Right.
They're doing the math. And so
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was just very, very excited to be on stage. And now that won't happen again for a while. But so be it. At least the people in Nebraska and Michigan don't care about the virus. Except if they have to go to the hospital, they will care. Here's another thing I wanted to mention. This is actually not funny, but there's a guy by the name of Jay Johnston who is an actor and a comedian.
He was on Mr. Show
and he was at the January 6th riots. He was at the Capitol on January 6th. He was an insurrectionist. And just today or yesterday, I guess, we have found out, we meaning the collective we, society, has found out that Jay has been kicked off his most recent gig, which was he was doing a voice for years on Bob's Burgers. So he has been basically fired from that job.
Yeah, reasonably so, I would say.
Well, agreed, 100%. But mentioned
then he will see that now as like,
well, whatever. Yes,
the left is
well, right,
blacklisting people or blah blah blah.
Not to get off topic, but I think there's this weird thing of like, I can just make up a reality and then fight against that, and then I'm winning because I'm fighting against this. And I say this because I watched a clip the other night, and I don't mean to invoke his name, but I watched a clip the other night of Donald Trump talking to Mike Huckabee. Mm-hmm. And Mike Huckabee, former governor of Arkansas, former presidential candidate, and odious person, was thanking Donald Trump for making it okay to wish people Merry Christmas again. For bringing back Christmas was gone for a long time.
It wasn't like the biggest economic driver of the country.
People did not celebrate Christmas for years because they were anti-Christmas and there was a war on Christmas and you weren't allowed to say Christmas. And Trump said, everybody loves Christmas, whether you're a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian, you love Christmas. I don't know that that's true.
Yeah.
But I was like, that would be like me. So they were both like sort of, Trump was congratulating himself and Huckabee was congratulating him for bringing back Christmas. And I was like, that would be like if I walked around going, I have encountered so many people in my life who I walk up to them and they go, you are not supposed to be as tall as you are. And I'm like, but I am as tall as I am. I am that tall. This is how tall I am.
And so like, you're so brave.
Good for me for being as tall as I am, Right. I am as tall as I am, and that means I'm winning because so many people are like, you're not supposed to be as tall as you are, but I am that tall.
Right.
So, but anyway, so Jay gets fired from Bob's Burgers. Jay also was a voice on Mr. Pickles, which was a show that I worked on. He did the voice of Mr. Goodman on Mr. Pickles. And a while back, a listener of our show, and I won't mention any names, but this listener, I'm sure, knows who they are, tweeted at me saying,
how do you feel?
What do you know about this? Do you know, was he there? What was going on? What's going to happen? What's whatever? And I'm like,
I framed him.
I mean, I have probably met Jay less than 10 times in my entire life. And it was always in a professional situation, basically where we were doing script read-throughs. So we did not have a lot of time to chat. So
you didn't get into like politics immediately.
So what do you think, man? Are we going to MAGA or are we not going to MAGA? But for some reason, this listener of our show is convinced that I know more than I'm telling and has pursued this since then. And for whatever reason, like, I wish I had my phone in front of me because I would read the tweet, but basically brought it up again and was like, "What's going on? What do you know? Do you know anything? Tell us what's really going on." So I just want to put that to bed. And by the way, I should say another reason it has come up is because Jay has been in the news the last couple of days, and I guess I shouldn't call him Jay because that sounds like I know him pretty well because I'm calling him by his name. I should say former
Mr. Johnson
of Bob's Burgers, Jay Johnston. But because this has come up, and I guess people are searching his name on Twitter or something, because this person tweeted at me,
now
people are liking that. Like, it's getting way more likes than any tweet I've ever done. And I'm like, so are people going to think that I'm somebody who
is defending him?
Whatever. It's a fucking annoying thing. So I just want to put it to bed and say I don't know anything about anything except whatever anybody else has read on the internet about Jay Johnston in the last couple of days and how he's been fired from Bob's Burgers. Amber says deservedly so.
Oh God.
I am.
Oh no, are they gonna come for me? I work in
Amber
social
is
media
all
now.
in favor of canceling people.
I work in social media now. I've seen how crazy people can be.
It's just super weird that all of a sudden people are liking this tweet from months ago because this guy's name is back in the news. And like it I won't say it worries me, but it does make me go, what the fuck is going on? Like I can't help you people. I have no information here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so here's a tweet that somebody sent 13 hours ago with me tagged in it. And it just says, Proud Boys, holy shit, hashtag racist, hashtag GOP traitors.
Oh, no, you don't want to be in that.
Yeah. So,
oh no.
So whoever's out there listening and they know who they are, who stirred up this whole fucking hornet's nest, I just want to say thank you for putting me in that. I appreciate it, and I hope it goes well from here. I don't know anything other than what I have said.
Don't believe him.
She works in social media. Why would she do that?
It just reminded me really quick when you were talking about the creating the reality. I realized walking Smudgy in the neighborhood, he's a Karen. Like, he's a Karen with a capital K, because if we go by like a big dog that he doesn't like, he will start shit with them. The big dog will be able to do it bigger and better, and then he'll be like, why did they do that? Like, he will be such a victim immediately, and it's like,
actions have consequences.
Yes. But he's so quick to be the victim after the fact.
He might be a closet Republican.
Jeff is convinced he's a Republican. That his politics are really bad.
Right. Well, this has been The Long Shot, so thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Merry Christmas?
Happy New Year. No. Don't say Merry Christmas. Don't.
Oh, because Donald Trump likes that.
I did say to my class when I was leaving the thing today, because there was a whole thing where I kept on saying, this is what I want you guys to do for next week. And finally somebody spoke up and was like,
it's
when
Christmas.
You say next week, you're saying like the next time. And I was like, yes. Sorry. I'm saying next year. Ha ha ha. But I did sign off by saying, I hope you guys have a great break. I hope Santa Claus is good for you, good to you, and please keep fighting the war on Christmas. So, folks, if you're listening, please keep fighting the war.
Oh, boy. All right. Bye-bye.
sure do feel angry about the sun in the sky, who refuses to save me. So instead of these pictures, I wish you would hang me on your wall. Well, I've been here for hours, it's a standard progression. It's the standard procedure for my standard obsession. And this standing ovation isn't really worth a damn. So now I am going to have to worry about what is gonna happen for the upcoming 29, 30, or 31 days. I have a sneaking suspicion I'm in very little danger of surviving. I have a sneaking suspicion I'm never going to be safe. Well, I've tried netting and shiners in my tender bare hands, but I just couldn't catch you in the snow or the sand or the grass or the gravel, the space or the sky or the sea. I never knew you were cunning, I never knew you were sane. I never thought I'd lose tenure at the front of your brain. I never worry all that much, which I guess is my biggest mistake. So now I am going to have to worry about what is gonna happen, which I really haven't done that I remember since 2008. And when I find you, I'll kill you, and when I kill you, I will finally know better. And when I finally know better, I will realize my mistake. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I've done, I don't know what I'm thinking, I don't know what I've thunk. All I know is that somebody, somewhere soon is going to pay. If I wasn't so angry, I'd turn on the tube. And if I wasn't so stupid, I'd listen to you. And if I wasn't so lazy, I'd probably get